Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so good that you're all here. Welcome to a new pick a card reading. Today we are going to be looking at what you need to know right now. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and show you the options that I have for you today. Okay, so here is an overview of the options that I have for you today. Starting off over here with option number 1, we have Aragonite. Over here with option number 2, we have Cintrine. Next with option number 3, we have Amethyst. And last but not least, with option number 4, we have blue Howlite. So I'm going to ask you now to take a deep breath in and out, and ask yourself which of these options has a message for you. And I will see you at your reading.
Before we begin, please do remember this is a general reading, so only take what resonates and leave the rest behind. Because you are not the ugly stepsister, please do not force that shoe onto your foot.
Okay, so those of you who chose the Aragonite here, welcome to your reading. Let's get started. So here are the cards that I've already pulled for you for what you need to know right now. That's what you have, a lot of sword energy here. You've got 3 sword cards, which is the 4 of swords, 3 of swords in reverse, and then also the 10 of swords reverse. So a major thing that's occurring for you right now is healing, with the 4 of swords being the only one upright out of all of these swords. And sometimes it's nice, well, it's not, sometimes you can think of these 2 cards in reverse as the swords kind of falling out, so in a way healing a wound. Definitely could be a wound in love, for example, experiencing a breakup or just a painful separation from someone in a romantic sense. For some of you guys, this could be a grief. It also could be like some kind of a feeling of betrayal from a friend or something like that. So we also do have the 10 of Cups in reverse. So I see that you guys aren't feeling particularly joyous right now, not very happy, maybe about where you are in life or just these kind of events that have occurred in your life, which is why there is healing going on here. You may find yourself kind of closing yourself off to people at the moment here, wanting a bit more quiet time, a bit more privacy, wanting to spend more time in your own energy opposed to being around others so much. But I'm going to go ahead and pull some clarifiers now so we can get some more information about this. What do they need to know right now? Let's clarify this spread, please. So we have the Ace of Wands. The Lovers reverse. So definitely for some of you guys, this could be a separation. Yeah, 9 of Swords, more sword energy. You guys could be feeling that you've taken a step back almost, because we're going from the 10 to the 9. But also there is just a lot of pain here. There's a lot of hurt. And Justice upright. And Justice upright for the 10 of Swords. Sorry, 10 of Cups even. I've just realised you have 2 10s here. So I feel like whilst maybe the cycle has ended, so for example, let's say if we are talking about a separation, a lot of times before a separation happens, there's a lot of push and pull, a bit of a tug of war happening, and then that cycle ends as the final separation occurs. But the energy is still lingering, but the whole situation still needs healing, so we haven't quite hit the 10, or we haven't quite moved on yet. So what you need to know right now is that you are experiencing this. So you might feel a bit frustrated in this healing period, thinking, why aren't things moving? Why can't I get over this? But you are being taken to a new beginning, or you will be taken to a new beginning with this Ace of Wands here, which is nice and upright. I feel like you will start to feel energy again. You will start to feel any kind of positive, just a bit more lively after this whole thing has happened. And after you've kind of been through a bit of a rest period. Because it is important for us to rest after we've experienced something that can be quite traumatic. Again, with Justice clarifying that 10 of Cups here, which I keep wanting to call it 10 of Swords. So again, you could be finding justice in this situation. If you feel like someone has betrayed you, or someone has kind of stabbed you in the back in the process of this whole thing, there will be justice coming for this, because I keep wanting to call this the 10 of Swords, which is the 10 of Cups. But I do also see balance regaining here. Again, happiness coming back for you, joy coming back for you. Sometimes we lose that in the process, and it can be quite scary to feel quite down and sad and depressive, to be honest, during certain cycles of our life, especially if we're not used to it as a constant kind of state. So we do have the 9 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck there, which shows you coming into stability, which shows you coming into your own personal power. I don't know if a lot of you guys are quite logical thinkers, in terms of like you maybe rationalize your emotions. It's hard for you to actually feel what you're going through, which is funny because you have the King of Swords just appearing at the bottom of the deck there. Because currently I don't feel very connected on a spiritual level. I feel very like grounded, and I feel like I'm giving quite practical advice, if that makes sense. And I feel that like this is your energy, that you guys are someone who struggles to maybe tap into an emotional source in a way. Like you're very Aquarian, like wanting to analyze the way you feel, or even Virgo even, wanting to analyze the way you feel opposed to just feeling it and accepting it for what it is, which is why maybe the way that you are experiencing this cycle and also this healing process, it might be quite frustrating for you, because you're thinking, why do I still feel like this? Why can't I get out of this? And it's like this time, you know, there's a big shift happening in terms of sometimes we just need to learn a lesson. And in order to do that whereas we might have, let me see, I feel like I'm saying this in a weird way, but whereas previously we might have experienced a breakup or a loss or something like that, and we were able to get over it pretty quickly, sometimes we just meet this person, or we're put in this situation where we can't shift our energy so easily, and that's because it's really just trying to show us something that we need to pay attention to, or something that we really need to heal right now. Right, so Monkey, Aragonite, what do they need to know right now? What do Aragonite need to know right now? That King of Cups, which tried to come out earlier as well. Yeah, so this is a period of time for you for reflection. Here with the King of Cups, exactly as I'm saying, feel your emotions. You also might feel like you possess more masculine energy, and sometimes the masculines, sometimes people who are naturally in more of a masculine energy have a trouble with getting in touch with just how they feel, with embracing how they feel, and also not allowing it to control them, or I don't know how to say this, feeling in a balanced manner. So for example, on this King of Cups card, we can see he's like dipping his toes in the water, and even though these waves are pretty rocky, he's just kind of chilling on this little, I don't know what it is, stone or whatever it is. And yeah, he's pretty chilled. So like, he's got control over his emotions, but he still knows how to feel them. He still knows what they mean. He's not over rationalizing them, maybe a bit more like a King of Swords would. So you might be feeling a bit of lack of direction right now, not knowing where you're meant to be putting your energy or what is for you. And this Five of Swords speaks about betrayal, so you definitely could feel like feel like you betrayed someone, but also feel like there was an argument here, or a loss that has taken place here. It was like, in this situation, no one won. Especially if you were the one who walked away from this situation, or you kind of thought, I'm going to take myself out of this so that, you know, people who are kind of afraid of getting attached to people because they think that person will leave them. So it's kind of the narrative of like, I'm going to leave before they leave me. And I'm not saying you guys did this, but if you guys felt like, okay, this is getting a bit sticky here, I'm going to take myself out of this situation before it gets worse, and you were kind of thinking that you were going to have the one up in a way, or yeah, you're just kind of thinking that this was going to benefit you by what, I'm literally struggling for words here. I don't want to say by putting the first punch in, but similar to that. I literally cannot think of the words. But yeah, it was like this almost backfired because you still had to feel what you felt. You still had to process these emotions just as much as the other person might had to as well. So a lot of synchronicities coming through here. So I'm talking about emotions and processing them. We have the moon come out here. So really bringing up those subconscious fears, bringing up any kind of things you've been stuffing down into your subconscious is really coming up here for you. So we have the Strength card here, and then we also do have the High Priestess coming out in reverse. I am also going to pull these cards here. Right, so I feel that you might be someone who's a bit out of touch with their spiritual side, or more like a connection to a higher power or divine power. Obviously you're on this reading, so that might not necessarily be the case, but maybe you find it hard to tap into that side of you all of the time, or you might have literally just stumbled on this reading. You're like, I need some clarity, here I am. But I do see that this situation is revealing a lot of hidden messages to you, things that you might have not known before, for example, things that are hidden in your subconscious, looking at the past and how that's influenced your current decisions or where you're at right now. Also, this situation is requiring you to have strength, to have patience, to look at things, I feel like, from a different point of view. and kind of to tame your emotions in a way, because I did feel that maybe sometimes you guys jump straight to anger or an emotion that doesn't necessarily correlate with the situation. So it's not very like balanced, which I think you guys are trying to learn, or you're on the process to learning this. So let's have a look at this. So you guys have balanced spirituality and practicality, full moon in Pisces. And then we also do have the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn, which makes sense. And then you guys have there is always enough with the koi fish spirit. This was in reverse. And then we have skunk spirit, know your worth. So the number 36 is standing out to me here, which is funny because it takes me to astrology, and the houses, the 3rd and the 6th house are both ruled by Mercury, which again is very logical, is very thinking based, very rationalized based, and not wanting to stick to the facts, wanting to stick to what they know, or what can be proven, opposed to emotions which are unpredictable, which are more go with the flow and has less structure to it. So with balanced spirituality and practicality here, again tapping into the side of you, your intuition, for example. But intuition is kind of the processing of an emotion, the processing of a situation before you know that situation to happen. That probably made no sense, but a lot of the time when we intuitively know something, we can't prove it just yet until the thing happens. So I think maybe you guys get things like this, you get premonitions or you get intuitive downloads, but you don't really accept them as true until the thing happens. You're like, well, it was just a coincidence or something like that. You just kind of brush it off. But it's like, no, you actually do have quite a skilled ability about you, and sometimes there are things that we can't necessarily explain, and sometimes that has to be enough. And I think that's also another thing that Spirit is showing you, that again, when it comes to rationalizing maybe emotions, sometimes they're just the way we feel, and we can't explain why we feel that way at the moment, and that's completely fine as well. And then full moon in Capricorn, so you guys can be happy in knowing the fact that this tough cycle is ending. Is ending for you, which is great, because we do have the 10s here. Like I said, I feel like it's still lingering just in the terms of like you healing it, but overall the intensity of it, I hope, or I feel like at least, is definitely ending for you guys. It's funny that we have very watery attributes on this goat for the Capricorn, which is usually quite a logical sign, but the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer, which is definitely in touch with their emotions. And I feel like a well-developed Capricorn understands that emotions have their time and place, and they are perfectly acceptable. And then we also have obviously the fishes in this one, and then the koi fish as well. So a lot of water. Gosh, I don't know whether you guys really struggle with your words at the same time as being super logical. I don't know if it's just because you struggle to explain yourself, or sometimes you find yourself over explaining yourself, but it's like I'm going to say something and then it just completely empties from my mind. So there's a lot of, just one moment, let me just tap into my own energy here so I can find words. That would be great. So there is a lot of fish or water imagery here, which I think really represents the kind of period of time that you are in. So I do feel like what this time period is trying to show you is to embrace the whole you. It's important, like I said, maybe you lean more towards like a masculine comfortability, a masculine energy of I don't know, maybe you're more comfortable within the masculine energy of being a bit more controlled, a bit more structured, stuff like that. So it's important that we become, you know, a whole person, and to be a whole person we need to have the feminine aspects of depth of emotions and understanding, and, you know, receiving, slowing ourselves down, understanding that we can't always know, and sometimes we just have to be, you know, we don't always have to go. Did not mean to rhyme that much, but here we go. Understanding that there's always enough. I feel like this message here is bringing up your maybe subconscious fears that you've had about losing situations, having to, you know, over clinging to people or things, thinking that you won't have them, or even separating yourself so far away from things or people that because you fear losing it. So you could be on either end of that spectrum there, but putting everything into balance is a particular message here for you. And I think even if you can't really digest this reading so much and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel like I'm going through this kind of healing process, but you know, maybe I wanted to know something different, or I wanted to just know that this was going to end, but it will end in due time. And once you come out of it, I feel like you're going to have a whole different perspective on things and be able to see things so much more clearly as well. So advice cards for you, we have the Dead End here, and we also have Give Yourself Much More Credit, which I think really ties into Know Your Worth here. It says, a stranger than strange, ponderance to ponder. Those in great relationships aren't always those who are good at relationships, and those in challenging relationships aren't always those who are bad at relationships. Oh, see, wow, even though I use ponderance ineptly, this one is really good. Please ponder the universe. So again, I think this is about shifting your mindset from thinking, maybe you are in a bit of a negative thought pattern of why always me? Why do I have to go through this? Why am I experiencing this? Why is it always me? But sometimes we're looking outside of ourselves and we're thinking, you know, why do I have to experience this kind of hurt, trauma? Why can't I have a successful, for example, in this situation here, they just spoke about a relationship. Why can't I have a successful relationship? It doesn't mean that everyone else who has a relationship has a successful or healthy relationship. And you're just learning those lessons in a way that your spirit has come here to learn those lessons. So that could be through separations with people, opposed to being in relationships with people. Some people are learning lessons whilst in, you know, an official girlfriend, boyfriend, or boyfriend, or whatever the makeup of the relationship is. But yeah, some people are learning those lessons whilst in relationships, and some of us need to learn it whilst we're separated from that individual, and just kind of go through the motions and processes of being connected to someone and then learning how to disconnect from them as well. And that's our own lesson to kind of learn. With the Dead End here, I do feel like definitely, again, it's kind of talking about the endings that you are experiencing here, and that I feel like there is no more for you to experience in this situation in a way. I don't want to say that in case you guys, well, I mean, I am going to say that, but yeah, part of me feels like you kind of reached the limit of this connection for now, or this situation for now, whatever it is. And by continuing to engage in it, or continue to push anything further, if you are, or it could be the other person, you're just going to end up more tangled in the kind of web of this situation. Whereas you kind of just need to take your hand out, take yourself out of the situation, and just start the healing process now. It's not to say that it would never ever reconcile, but I think right now, like I said, we just need to go through stages and processes sometimes, and cycles. And the cycle right now is for you to be you and to be by yourself healing this, I think, for most of you guys anyway. And one thing I do want to point out is that this dead end breathes new life, a new beginning with this Ace of Wands here. It's not an end, it might be an end of this cycle, this situation, but it's just an end of a chapter. Like, the book isn't finished yet for you guys. And I think it's important that you kind of are able to... That's probably why I felt grief here, because when we finish things or when we end things, there can be an element of grief, even if it is just we feel like an ending of ourselves in a way after a healing process. We can feel like we're grieving a part of ourselves as well. So, you know, repeating to yourself that after this situation occurs or after this ending has been, you know, felt, there will be a new beginning here. There always is. So option number 1, those of you who chose the Aragonite here, that is the end of your reading. Thank you so much for coming. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below. If you are new here and want to see more from me, I post mostly spiritual and lifestyle content, and you can subscribe down below. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye. Hi there, option number 2. Those of you who chose the Cintrine here, welcome to your reading. Let's start off with some tarot cards. So here are the cards that I've pulled for you guys. First of all, very strong energy coming out. You have the Magician. You have the Ace of Wands. You have the Hermit card. You have a Death card. To be honest, I'm not really surprised, because as soon as I started your reading, like, I just got an immense pressure in my head, which usually means, I should say, that there's either an important message to tell you guys, or just you are very a spiritual pile. You're very much so a spiritual pile. So what do you guys need to know right now? First of all, I would say there's a lot happening for you, because all of these energies kind of speak of different things. It's like all areas of you might feel that all areas of your life are kind of being impacted at the moment, or they are being affected in some way, because you have the Magician here, which talks more about the practical world. You have the Ace of Wands here, which speaks about maybe a new beginning somewhere, starting something new. Then you have the Hermit here, which talks about the inner world, a bit more of a introspective or spiritual energy. And then you have the Death card here, which talks about the underworld in a way, of the subconscious, and transforming that kind of area of realms of things. So there's definitely a mixture of maybe areas of life that are impacting you at the moment, or that you feel are a bit, I don't know, you're trying to make sense of in some way. So it's very interesting that all of these things right here are holding something in their hand. For example, I'll just show you. So the Magician is holding this kind of wand here. The Ace of Wands, the hand is obviously holding a wand. Hermit card, he's holding another stick here. And then also in the Death card, he's holding the flag. I'm not sure why that is significant, but that is definitely a kind of weird coincidence in a way. I feel in a way this is speaking about you holding the power here. And as I kind of said before, maybe all areas of your life feel like they're up in the air, maybe a bit confusing, that type of thing. It's like, even if that is so, or even if it feels like that, you do hold the power here, especially with the Magician being here. As someone who knows the skills, who possesses the skills to get what they want. I don't know if some of you guys have maybe started a new job, or you're starting something new and maybe there's a bit of anxiety about this, or there's a bit of like the idea of facing the unknown. And I don't think this will be for everyone, this kind of scenario here, but for those of you who are beginning something new, just know that you do know enough to get where you want to go, or you know enough to really start progressing on this journey, or reaching your desires even. So I want to pull some clarifiers here, make sense of this energy a bit more. Right. Right, so make me want these ones for you guys now. So, Cintrine, please. Can you clarify this message for what they need to know right now? Whoa, my goodness me. Okay. Right, let's try that again. So I don't know what it is about whoever created these cards, but they are incredibly slippery. Okay, the Magician, please. Can we clarify that? Right, we're getting a lot of cards, so we kind of need like one each. Magician. So we had the Two of Pentacles falling out there. Clarify the Ace of Wands, please. Right, we've got the Lovers and the Chariot coming for the Ace of Wands. I'm just going to take both of them because, you know, it's getting a bit crazy over here. Alright, clarify the Hermit card, please. There's the Hermit card here. So we have a more Ace energy, so now we have the Ace of Swords. Which the Hermit card is ruled by Virgo, and the Ace of Swords energy is quite Virgo energy as well, actually. Some of you guys could be Virgos. Yeah, see, that's too many cards. Too many. Where's the Death card here for those who are Cintrine? Oh my gosh, they keep giving me loads of cards. This is one reason why I don't like using this deck sometimes. As I said, there's a lot that that either spirit or whatever is trying to get to you. A lot of messages coming out here. Separate it, please. Clarify the Death card. Right. I don't know what to do because we keep getting 4 cards. Come on, man. There we go. The Emperor. So now you have the Emperor coming out here. I was going to say there's a lot of masculine energy here with the Hermit card. The Death card feels quite masculine to me. And then also the Magician as well here. Right, so again, 3 more major arcana coming out. You have 3 major arcana at the top there as well. So a lot of synchronicities. You might be experiencing a lot of like of the same numbers, or a lot of synchronicities just happening in general in your life. Again, I do think there's a message of balance here with the Two of Pentacles and the Lovers card. Even options as well. Like you could feel like you're choosing between 2 different scenarios or things. Again, that new job scenario is kind of coming up here, where you might be deciding between 2 new opportunities in workplace or in love even. It's like a lot of things are coming in for you even. Well, there's just a lot of options around you right now. Like there's a need to be decisive or make decisions about things. So there could be a lot of shifts or changes happening in your life right now. This energy over here is very different to this one over here. Like this over here is really speaking about that ignition of energy, that opportunity, or the new thing that is coming for you. And then over here is maybe it feels a bit more like your fears about what is happening here. Or it's not necessarily fear. It's not fear that I feel. It's like an inner knowing, in a way. It's like, yes, whilst I'm excited about this is really great opportunity, it's like, okay, I need to take the lessons with me. I need to remember what I've learned on my journey so far. I need to be practical about this. I need to be decisive about make sure I'm making the right decision. Like, it's very much, I guess it's very wise energy in a way, very mature. Like, you're not letting the newness of it all or the excitement of it all get to your head in a way. Like, you are remaining still quite grounded in this, I do feel. Or if you're not, this is a message to remain grounded and remember the lessons that you've learned before. What does Cintrine need to know right now, please? What does Cintrine need to know right now? Those who chose Cintrine, what do they need to know right now? So that was Temperance in reverse. The Hermit card came out again. Yeah, I always feel like I always feel that when I'm called to pick up a new deck that we might have repeating energies coming out. So the Hermit energy is definitely being stressed right here. And I think it is that message of grounding yourself. So if the practical side that I was kind of picking up on isn't quite, like, you kind of felt like that's not really me, it needs to be you as you kind of continue this journey. Yeah, this is very strange. And it's strange in that I don't quite know how to describe it. Let's keep pulling and see if we can get some. I've just had the King of Wands come out now. Again, that contrast. And very masculine energy coming through again. And we have Death of Rebirth, which is a death card at the bottom of the deck there again. So Temperance is another card of balance. The Hermit card, again, it doesn't feel like isolation that needs to happen though. I heard the word clarity. For some of you guys, you might need to, you might be feeling, sorry. I'm really stumbling over my words today, but that you need to get clarity over the situation, over the options that are available to you right now. Yeah, you might need to take a step back. Like I said, it seems like things are moving quickly. Or there's a rise in energy at least. But there's a need to remain grounded, to think at things, think about things practically. There's also another message here. There's a message about it's not fitting in. What is this? Something about blending into the background. Something about blending into the background. Let's see if I can just clarify this before we move on to some oracles. Eight of Swords reversed. What is the second message for those who chose to triple things here? What is the second message? Okay, so you guys definitely have strong energy. You're very much so leaders. And if there are fears about which way to go, what's the best thing to do, maybe you're even stepping into a leadership position as well, and that could be kind of worrying you a little bit. I do see that these are mental blocks and it's not a reality of the situation. Like I said, with the Magician, you do have everything that you need to get where you want to go. You do have the wisdom. And I do think there is a practicality about you that allows you to lead, that makes you a good leader. Okay, I'm going to go pull your Oracle cards, see if they can give us a bit more. Okay, so we have here Seahorse Spirit, Watch and Wait. This was in reverse. Yeah, see that kind of... There is a message about patience or sitting back a little bit. But it's not very clear, which I don't know why. It's kind of like like say if the main message was stay grounded, keep a level head, good things are coming, or these opportunities won't, escape you, basically. The underlying message is about patience or waiting or taking a step back, even though the energy feels quite high. You also have Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide. And we have Full Moon in Virgo, you are good enough. I just heard that everything will be revealed to you now. Everything will be revealed to you now with this full moon energy here. You have full moon in Libra, a win-win outcome is forecast. I've just got to change the battery very quickly. So that little message there where I had that these things are guaranteed for you. And I think that's what you need to know now, is that everything, the energy that you might be feeling, the building of... I feel like it's quite an energetic thing, so I don't know if the opportunities have necessarily arrived just yet, or they could be slowly coming in, or it could be things that you're not 100% interested in, but you're slowly seeing that you're gaining more recognition, or that things just seem to be flowing towards you more. And this is a sign that things are coming in for you. And yeah, the universe is providing you with everything that you need basically at this time, because you've worked on yourself, because you deserve it, because you're good enough. And this is a belief system that you need to maintain as you enter into this new chapter or this new cycle. And also remembering patience as you enter into this as well. Remembering the lessons that you've learned. And at some point in your life, I feel like you have gone through a bit of a hermit period. And even though the energy is building within you, it doesn't mean that you need to kind of ignore everything that you've learned and just kind of ride with that wave now, but more so integrating both things into each other, understanding that patience is important and but trusting that things will work out in due time, in due course. Yeah, there is something like, there might be something you're not 100% seeing just now. So like I said, maybe there's small opportunities coming in and, maybe you think they align with you, or they're like, okay, seems fun, this seems exciting, but I don't know if it's 100% me. It's like, yes, these energies are flowing towards you because your energy is kind of matching these opportunities now. You've grown to a point where you are getting... you're getting some kind of recognition in a way. And, when energies align, you start to draw things towards yourself more. And more opportunities towards you. I literally have no other word apart from opportunities, which is why I'm struggling. But it's not necessarily that you have to take every single thing that is coming towards you just because a job comes or a scenario, something comes out of the woodworks, which is okay, but you need to consider, does it 100% align with you? And like I said, the win-win outcome is forecast, so 100% you're going to get what you need, and you're going to get something that satisfies you 100%. So don't rush into anything, I think, is what this message is trying to say. And it took us long enough to get there. I feel like your whole reading, what you need to know right now is literally don't rush into any decision, but trust that everything will work out in your favor in a way. Yes, okay. Let's move on to your advice cards now. So we have the River. We have the River here. And then we also have the Creator. You guys did get 2 cards of these. And then we also have Create Space for New Love. When a thing hurts your eyes, stop looking at it. When it hurts your ears, stop listening to it. And when it hurts your heart, stop justifying it. I love you so much, the universe. This doesn't necessarily have to mean love, but again, it could mean love of a job, love of a new adventure, of a new opportunity. Again, the word opportunity is just there, and I have no other word for it. But it's about I think this creating space is, again, about you being patient. It's about you taking your time and considering things before you jump into them, so that when the thing that most aligns with you comes in, you will be available for it. You will be able to say yes to it because you have nothing else that you're holding on to. For example, I keep thinking of a job scenario, so I apologize if it's not that, but if a job comes in for you and you've already rushed in and taken the job that kind of aligned with you, it was kind of like interesting, but it wasn't 100%, but you just felt like, oh, you know, I've wanted a new job for ages, let me just go for it, or let me just take it. Now that new job has come in, it's like, well, I've already committed myself to that person. But actually what you didn't know was that Spirit was aligning, or there was a job coming in for you that was so much more aligned with what you wanted to do. That's just a scenario anyway. The River and the Creator. So the Creator here really is reminding me of the Magician card energy, where you are creating your own destiny, your thoughts, your beliefs. And I don't want this to be like, I know a lot of times people say this, like, your thoughts create your reality, and then we kind of hold on to the fact that sometimes I have negative thoughts, sometimes I'm not always thinking positively. Does that mean that my reality isn't going to be positive? No, not necessarily, but I think it's just continually kind of working on yourself, setting those those affirmations even, where we do slip up, but we can quickly regain awareness, and just remaining very conscious about what we're thinking about. And that's not to scare you. That's not to say if you have like a bad thought and intrusive thoughts that those are exactly going to manifest, because Spirit knows your heart and the universe knows what you truly desire, or, you know, that's truly aligned with you. So don't worry too much about that. But it is saying that you are the creator of your reality, and whatever you kind of want out of this situation, you will get, and just trusting that and waiting for that thing to come in, because it will come in at the right time. I'm surprised no divine timing cards came up here, to be fair. Alright, I'm going to read the River message here. It says, the river washes away what is no longer necessary, smoothing over sharp edges and accepting all our mistakes and grievances. Once we step in, we are no longer in control. The river carries us farther down the stream of transformation than we planned to go. Its waters have a special gift for reflecting back to us a new dreamlike vision. Once the tears have passed, we see ourselves as we haven't before, with a little more lightness, grace and fluidity. Keep in mind the you that stands within the river is the real you, full of deep emotion, potential, nothing to hide, nothing to judge. May you drink in the sight of your true self. So I do think that kind of speaks of a message of flowing with the universe, flowing with what is coming in for you, knowing that you know, like fishes in the river, or I don't know what kind of analogy I'm trying to find here, but they kind of just flow with that river, trusting that it's going to take them to where they need to be, trusting that they're going to be fed, that they're going to survive wherever they're going to go. I don't think they think about, oh, I need to swim this way because this is where this is, and I need to go that way because this is where this is. It's like they just trust that this body of water that they're in is going to provide for them. And I think that's where you guys need to be right now, is that trusting, that feminine. Maybe that's why there's so masculine energy here. It's like, yes, you've nailed that masculine now, but now it's like the feminine energy of receiving, of trusting in the unknown, trusting that things are going to flow towards you, are going to come towards you, and you are going to be taken to the correct, or down the right path that gets you where you want to go. So Cintrine, thank you for coming to your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below. If you are new here and want to see more from me, I post mostly spiritual and lifestyle content, and you can subscribe down below, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye. Hi there, those of you who chose the Amethyst, welcome to your reading. So I have pulled some tarot cards for you. You guys have the High Priestess reversed, the Nine of Swords, the Three of Swords reversed, and the Four of Wands. Some of you guys might have been drawn to option number 1. Some of you guys might play music or have an interest in music. Well, I first of all heard the message, everything is not as it seems, and then the Wizard of Waverly Place theme song started playing, which was everything is not what it seems, and which is quite funny because the High Priestess is here, and in this deck she really reminds me, she kind of has more of a witchy vibe to her, I feel like. And obviously if any of you guys have watched Wizard of Waverly Place, you know that they had special powers, or I don't even know what you would call them, to be honest. I guess they kind of were like witchy vibes because they used to say spells, I think, and they had wands. I don't know what they would be called, but yeah, but everything is not as it seems. It's a message for you guys of what you need to know right now. I think in the chaos of it all, whatever you guys are experiencing or feel like you're experiencing, is a sense of order as well. I'm so sorry, that was all out of focus. There is a sense of order here, with the Four of Wands being the only card. Oh no, it's not the only card, but the Four of Wands is up right here. I don't know if music has really been helping you recently as well. If you feel very drawn to listening to music or playing music, that would be very beneficial to you right now. There's a message here about attachment. And it's like the attachment is more painful. Being attached to something or this thing is causing more pain. Is causing more resistance in a way. I need some clarifiers. Can you clarify the spread first, please? For those who chose the Amethyst. For those who chose the Amethyst, please. Clarify the spread. Clarify the High Priestess in reverse, please. Where's the High Priestess in reverse? Ace of Cups reversed. There's the Nine of Swords here. There's the Nine of Swords here. We have the Death card. I'm going to put it in reverse. Oh my gosh, so you have, which is so funny the way the deck that's just flipped out there. Because you've got the Three of Swords here. And then also the Ten of Swords at the bottom, which is exactly what option number 1 had as well in their spread. I don't necessarily think they want us to take this, but we'll just like a focus on this energy. For the Three of Swords, please. We'll see. Okay, so now we have the Eight of Swords reversed. I'm going to keep it upright for now. And Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands, the Knight of Wands here. Clarifying that energy over there. Okay. So I know if you guys have a lot of nervous habits. It's very hard for me to get the message of this reading. I feel like I'm just kind of getting little things. For example, when I spoke about the music, nervous habits, that type of thing. Again, it's very funny that the Eight of Swords is clarifying the Three of Swords, which is where I saw that attachment. And in the Eight of Swords, you have someone tied up against these swords, thinking that they can't get out of the situation, but only it's their mind that is trapping them there, or keeping them there even, refusing to see the truth. Everything is not as it seems, again, just coming back to me. I think a lot of these readings that I've done already have spoken about kind of the personal power, the power that you guys have to get out of the situation you're in. And again, I see it here with the Death card, the Ace of Cups. It's like you have the ability to shift this, to change this. You have the power to do that. I think this is very hard for you almost to I don't know what you guys are refusing to see. I feel like you're refusing to look at something, see something. Again, the idea of truth is coming through. Eight of Swords has her eyes closed. Three of Swords has her eyes closed. Nine of Swords is covering her head in her hands, so she can't see anything. Even the High Priestess has their eyes closed. I don't know why this jewelry is really standing out to me on the High Priestess right now. Especially her earrings. I don't know what that is. Earrings. I don't know if some of you guys are a bit skeptical about tarot readings or kind of like psychic readings or stuff like that. You guys could have like dyed hair, you could have earrings that have some kind of significance to you, like your grandma's earrings or something like that. Or you could enjoy kind of doing, not shopping and charity, like thrifting and stuff like that. Finding your jewelry at thrift stores. You have a very specific style, I feel like. A unique style. It could be quite an antique looking style as well. But I see you like dyeing your hair different colours, maybe wearing makeup that's a bit more different or colourful. And it could be that even though your outer appearance might seem very fun and different and happy in a way, it's like inside you don't necessarily feel that way. So now I'm being taken to the Death card. So there's something that your inner child is trying to tell you or is seeing, that it feels like a teenage version of you either shut off or refuses to see. Again, a grandparent could be very important to you. This could also be a granddad. You might have lived with them. There's something very special bond between you guys. You'd also experience a death or a loss of a grandparent as well, particularly a grandma, which is why you might have their jewelry as well, or feel very close to their jewelry. Feel very sentimental about their jewelry. That's the word I'm trying to find. Some of you guys could have Scorpio placements, 8th house placements. I don't know why I keep just talking about what you could have or why this might be significant to you rather than a message of what actually you need to hear right now. But I just feel very much like I need to just keep talking about you in some way. I don't know if you get told that you were a very happy child, or, you know, people are like, okay, I'm going to say two things. So either people tell you guys that you used to be a very happy child, that you had a very happy demeanor about you as a child growing up, and then that kind of changed, or you feel as in your memory, you kind of feel that there was a time where everything was dimmed. And by that I mean, like, sometimes we have a memory of like where the world kind of becomes real. We're like, oh, this isn't actually always sun and roses. This is Gun and Roses. Some of you guys could be like into that kind of music as well, but this isn't all sunshine and roses. Is that the saying? Like, life isn't always good, or life isn't always happy. You could have come to that realization. There could be a memory that is significant to you that kind of emphasized that came in kind of like your childhood and disrupted your teens. Right, I'm really been taking to each card individually, so we'll just run with it. We will roll with it. So I'm very drawn to these grey clouds in the background. Like, yes, this isn't a very happy card, but specifically these grey clouds back here. And how up here there's like, it's blue. It's basically like clear skies. And I think again that kind of reiterates the idea of there's a certain duality to life, that clear on a sunny day, or when it's been sunny for a certain amount of time, it's bound to rain. The rain will eventually come. And that doesn't mean we don't have to embrace the sunny day. We don't have to be happy in that moment. I mean, most of us kind of know, or we even forget, that eventually it's going to rain at some point when we've had days and days of sun or a really hot day. But that doesn't stop us from going out and enjoying the day. That doesn't say, oh, do you know what, it's going to rain in like a day or two, so let me just stay indoors anyway. We just embrace the joy or the day that we're having in that moment. We enjoy the sun in that moment, I should say. I feel like there's something about you sticking up for yourself. I want to say yourself, but it also could be someone else. Sticking up for yourself. This could be against family, against kind of bullies. Also bullies existing in your family as well, maybe. You might have been picked on or teased at some point. in your life. Okay. Again, vintage clothing is coming through. Right, so Three of Swords energy now. Goodness me. I'm sorry, this is a very different reading to what I've been doing with the other piles. But we're rolling with it because we trust that we'll get there in the end, right? So definitely a lot of grief and sadness here. It's kind of like a loss, again, that kind of idea of a moment that ties itself to you, a memory that kind of just sticks with you. Alright, I'm not getting anything else from that card at the moment. This is where it changes, where everything kind of shifts as the Four of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Wand energy. This is like the enthusiasm, that's the word I heard anyway, enthusiasm in particular. Happiness, joy, celebration, a coming together. You could find like a soul tribe or connecting with people. Again, music might be important. Maybe you enjoy going to music festivals. Connecting with people that way. With like-minded people, because I feel like there's an essence of you being kind of like a black sheep or being the odd one out as you grow up. You might have some self-confidence issues, particularly around your appearance, just because I feel like you don't like looking at people maybe in the eye, or you don't really like people looking at you in some way. That can make you feel insecure. Because even on this Knight of Wands, there's a armor around this person. It's like, yes, I'm happy, I'm ready to go out, I'm ready to enjoy this life, but still there's an armor around you. There's an element of protecting yourself. So we need to pull some more cards now. I feel like I'm getting trapped in these little bits of information. So those who chose Amethyst, please, what do they need to know? So now we have the Knight of Cups. You have the Six of Pentacles reversed. What do they need to know? The Nine of Wands. Goodness me. Nine of Wands, there we go. It's funny how the wand cards keep falling on the wand cards. You guys could also have Leo placements. Again, that Nine of Wands really reiterates the feeling of wanting to step out of your comfort zone, wanting to step out beyond the kind of walls that you've built for yourself, but being scared, being cautious about it. A desire to, but actually I'm not really going to. And again, that wounded warrior energy or spirit where you have been hurt in the past. You have been neglected or kind of just left to deal with things on your own. And it means that you just don't trust people easily. Maybe sometimes you don't even trust yourself to choose the right people as well. And the Six of Pentacles, almost like not knowing the right balance between giving and receiving. Who should I pay attention to? Who should I befriend or give my energy to? And who should I just not? Who shouldn't I trust, basically? Who's not going to give back to me? Who's not going to refill my cup? And then the Knight of Cups as well. Which a lot of the time we want to talk about the Knight of Cups as giving emotion, being very vulnerable or speaking about emotions. But actually he's still wearing armor. So there is a protective layer here. You guys might also have Cancer placements. So the energy I've seen is Scorpio, Leo, Cancers, Capricorn as well, maybe. What do they need to know right now? What do they need to know right now? Let's choose Amethyst, please. Another Knight. Knight of Swords. And the Two of Wands. I feel like we're finally getting to what you actually need to know, which is being decisive, trusting your instincts, speaking up for yourself, learning to just, yeah, again, that word trust is coming through here. Learning to trust where you're going, being, you know, you have a certain kind of, let me just say it like this, because this is how what I'm picturing, but it's hard for me to explain. You see how this Knight of Wands card, the horse is kind of upright, and it's kind of giving me like, whoa, I can't quite control my horse. I can't quite control where we're going right now. It can be very quite impulsive or all over the place. It's not that structured. And it's just a bit like, okay, I'm not in control of the situation right now, is what I feel. And then we had the Knight of Cups here, where he's kind of trotting along. He has the horse, but he's moving slowly. He's moving cautiously, and he's kind of managing. He's trying not to spill this cup here. He's not being too fast. He's just in the middle, basically. But he's kind of got control of this horse. And then we have the Knight of Swords here, which is like, go, charge. Like, yes, I am 100% sure that I am in control of this horse, of this situation. I'm in charge here. It's kind of like owning your power, owning your shit in a way. Of like, when you know yourself and when you trust yourself, you know that you can set boundaries. You know what you deserve. And I think this is what this Knight of Swords is giving me. Is you getting to a place, where you trust yourself, you trust your decision making, you trust how decisive you can be, and you trust the right people even. Well, you know that maybe sometimes I won't always know who's best for me, or people might trip me up on my journey, but I know that I'm going to cut them out as quickly as they came if they try any shit with me. Like, I'm in charge here and I know what is what. So let us pull some your oracle cards now to see what else we can get. So we have Stag Spirit, take the lead. This was in reverse. Again, there's a delicacy to you, but that doesn't mean you can't be powerful in your own way. For example, this Stag Spirit talks about leadership, but look how soft and gentle it is. Look how beautifully it's been decorated. Again, that kind of jewelry coming up. I don't know if you're really big on jewelry. Even if you are someone who has a very strong sense of personal expression, for example, you wear colourful hair or different clothing, and that's kind of how you enjoy expressing yourself, I see you coming into that more and trusting that I'm going to find the right people for me, trusting that you're going to find that soul tribe who matches your energy, who accepts your energy even. They don't have to be exactly like you, but just accepting of you and who you are. And then we have Dove Spirit here, again, wearing jewelry, wearing a necklace around it. Let me know down below how this is resonating, because I would love to know why this kind of jewelry message keeps popping up here. But this one says be peace. Number 21, we have Blue Moon, believe in the impossible. And New Moon in Pisces, meditate and contemplate. Meditate and contemplate. So with take the lead here again, I see like trusting your instincts, not being afraid to Also, not being afraid to allow others to take the lead as well. Sometimes when we're less trusting of others, we can kind of go like one or two ways, where we overgive and we don't really take our power back as much, or we can go to the other extreme of like trying to control every situation. For example, I'm seeing an example of like being in a group project and either being the person who kind of like, yeah, I'm cool with that, even though you don't really want to do that part of the project, but you don't want to speak up for yourself, or being the person that's like, okay, you do this, and I'm going to do this because that's what I want to do, or I'm going to take charge of the group, because they struggle to give control away. And it can kind of stem from a similar fear, or similar trauma even. And then believe in the impossible. Again, I see that kind of message of being accepted by society, of being accepted by a soul tribe even, or finding a group of friends, finding a support system that loves you for you. It's like believing and trusting that this is going to come to you the more you step into your power, the more you show that this is who I am and I don't care what you guys kind of think about it. Obviously, sometimes we do fall into the trap of caring too much what other people think, or wanting to hide away the selves that we think, the parts of ourselves that we don't want to, that we feel like weren't accepted. But the more we learn to accept ourselves, the more other people will start accepting us for us as well. This Be Peace card is very interesting. Be peace. I'm going to look this one up. Then also meditate and contemplate. I feel like these two cards definitely touch on, again, the bit of the softness to you, the ability to kind of tap into these different modes. The same way I kind of explained the Knights, where we have the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and then the Knight of Cups. As you've been through all of these different transitions, I feel like you've learned a new skill as well. You've learned when to be patient, you've learned when to take, or you're learning even when to let others take the lead and when to take the lead, learning when to speak up and when not to, when to listen, you know. So I think you are learning these new skills as you continue on this path. It's funny, this Dove Spirit card also talks about meditation, so that could be something that you guys want to introduce into your routine as well. So you always have the power to generate peace within you, and the appearance of Dove Spirit is a reminder that today and every day is a good day to meditate, to quiet any turbulence within as you embody tranquility. Above, below, and all around you, much may be happening to distract you, but you are called to engage it with the heart of a peacemaker. Ask yourself, what would peace do? Can you agree to disagree? The peace you seek rises within and spreads out into the world as Spirit sends her messenger to remind you of the beauty of harmonious existence that with all that is. How beautiful and powerful is your compassionate heart. Definitely feel some Cancer energy here for you guys. So either you're being affected by the Cancer season that we're in right now, or you definitely have some Cancer placements. Yeah. It's like, even if other people have bulldozed their way into your life, or had that kind of nature of a bulldozing, and that's how they've got what they want, just because your nature is different to theirs doesn't mean that one is right and one is wrong in a way. And you can still get what you want and state your mind whilst also being the soft, gentle person that you naturally are, because I feel like that's kind of more natural to you. And you might be feeling like, well, I need to speak up and I need to change who I am. But there's a way to do things and a way to hone power without shifting too much of who you naturally are, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense anyway. And I think as well, just like confident people, they don't necessarily have to shout to be confident, but there's a certain kind of energy that confidence exudes where people naturally respect what you're saying and kind of take a moment to listen to what you're saying as well, which maybe it's not always the right thing, but it is kind of like a pattern that I see anyway. So let's see this. We have the prayer. I love this for you guys. And then also convince yourself, not others. The need to clarify, explain, or justify oneself in personal relationships is always self-serving. What's important is knowing the truth about why you felt the need, because it often points to insecurities that could be dealt with in more effective ways. Yeah, you definitely give me the energy of someone who has like people-pleasing wounds or fawn energy, like those kind of things. And I think that's kind of what you are recognizing or healing within yourself at this moment in time. So again, convince yourself, not others. The more you believe in yourself, the more you trust who you are as a person and trust yourself, the less you will feel like you're living for others or needing to prove others of who you are. The prayer. Right, I'm going to read the prayer message as well. It says, archetypically, the practice of prayer has been with us since the dawn of time as a remedy for the omnipresent self-centered thinking that spins us towards illusion. Prayer leads us beyond our ego as we move from our little story to the big one. Some say we are in a state of prayer anytime we are not the center of our own thoughts. Others say prayer is a natural result of gratitude. Perhaps it is simple surrender or service. Whatever prayer is for you. This card reminds us of its importance. Get low, quiet, humble and soft. Bow and touch the ground as your heart lifts to the sky. Though it may be uncomfortable, it is time. Nothing else will do. So it's about offering to be of service and asking for guidance. This is very interesting advice for you guys. I do think as well, a lot of the time when we have been victims of circumstances in our life, we can kind of go on to victimize ourselves, even though we kind of know that those things are in the past or that's not a part of our life anymore. And I think there's certain things that we do, for example, convince yourself and others, like over-explaining and stuff like that, like little nuggets, little things that aren't necessarily harmful. Well, they're kind of harmful to you, but they're also self-serving in a way, and we don't really realize that, how much we are thinking about ourselves, even though maybe it's a weird paradox of both neglecting yourself and also being self-centered at the same time. And maybe I'll do a video on it or something in the future, because I think it's incredibly hard to explain at this moment in time. But there's definitely, for example, let's say I'm trying to think of an example to explain this a bit more. For example, I think that sometimes we can have such strong insecurities that we kind of forget about the other people, and we kind of just are thinking about ourselves in a way, like, oh my gosh, what do I look like? Oh my gosh, they're thinking about me like this. And obviously at the end of the day, we are like self-centered or ego-based people, and as much as we get told to, you know, love yourself and do this for yourself and all these different things, and obviously there are times to be selfish, but also sometimes we can be over selfish to a point where we aren't thinking about the world as a whole and how everything is connected. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Tapping back into that universal wisdom, opposed to just thinking about the individual that you are. And I think that you can get there at a certain point of, obviously this is coming up in your reading because you are able to get to that point where you can think about things in that way, in such a kind of big, almost philosophical way. That's the only reason it would be coming up. So yeah, if you guys can do that, and I hope that made sense, and maybe I'll try and explain it more again, like I said, in a different video, something like that. But yeah, if you guys can get that, I think that would be very beneficial to you and how the outlook that you have on life. Anyway, option number 3. Those of you who chose the Amethyst crystal here, thank you for coming to this reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below. If you want to see more from me, I post mostly spiritual and lifestyle content, and you can subscribe down below, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye. Hi there, option number 4, welcome to your reading. Those of you who chose the Howlite crystal here, let's see what we get. Right, so here are the cards that I have for you right now. I have the King of Cups. We have the Two of Pentacles reversed, the Page of Swords reversed, and the Three of Wands. Right, so what do you need to know right now? Gosh, I think a lot of these piles, which I'm not surprised about because I feel like it happens a lot in my readings, but I kind of is talking about very similar things, which is patience, which is tapping into your emotions, and also trusting as well. So again, one of the major messages that I'm getting right now is about patience. Like, there's more so you need to know that things are coming in, or trusting that things are coming in with this Three of Wands card here. Having faith with the King of Cups here. Also, you might be interested in doing kind of like water rituals or water magic as well. I kind of see that being a thing. I don't know if that's something you already do, but if you're interested in doing that, or you feel like that's something that aligns with you, you might want to start looking into that, especially with the Page of Swords being here for you guys. I feel like there's more that you can discover before this thing comes in for you. I want to get some more cards already, actually. What do they need to know right now, please? After the Two of Pentacles. Those who chose the blue Howlite. They chose the blue Howlite, please. What do they need to know right now? The Moon. Where's the Page of Swords here, please? The Empress reversed. I've read Three of Wands. Right, that was a lot of cards. Now the Hermit, Ace of Wands, Seven of Swords. We'll take this one because this is the one that fell down, which was the Five of Wands. Sun card. Okay, so we're going to keep these. We have the Hermit, the Ace of Wands, and also the Seven of Swords. We're going to leave that at the top there. Right. Ace of Cups, sorry, not Ace of Cups even. King of Cups, the Sun. What do you need to know right now? Yeah, balancing of emotions. Definitely that is a major thing here. Even with the Five of Swords here. Sorry, Five of Wands even. Can be quite a like conflictual energy of people trying to get one over on each other and everyone trying to say the same thing at once. It's like more balance needs to be had here before moving forwards. Again, I'm really just getting a very similar message. Like trusting yourself, balancing your emotions, learning that there's, with the good comes the not so good, and with the not so good there's also good. You know, like the duality of just life in general. Please choose Howlite, please. Let me get more specific of what they need to know right now. Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune coming out in reverse, which literally speaks about that. Okay, let's get Hangman also, and the World card. Yeah, you have big energies here, which is funny because I don't necessarily feel like a big thing's happening, but you do have the Sun, the Moon, the High Priestess, sorry, the Empress even, the Wheel of Fortune, the Hangman, the World, the Hermit card up there. Like, what's that, 7 major arcana out here right now? So I feel like you are learning a big kind of spiritual lesson at the moment. And they might be coming to you in small ways at the moment. like small little nuggets of wisdom, but actually it's a whole thing that's going to help you in the end. Which is funny because you have the wild card here, which is literally about bringing everything together, bringing the whole journey of the major arcana into one, integrating all the lessons, knowing that, you know, there is a duality to life, again, like I keep saying. The Hangman, learning to see things from a new perspective, that things aren't always just good or bad, but there's also a grey area as well. And the Wheel of Fortune, which talks about sometimes things aren't going in our favour, but the wheel is always turning, so at some point it will turn in our favour and things will flow and energy will move in the right direction. That could be something that's frustrating you right now, is kind of like feeling a bit stuck, like there's a block, an ability to move forwards. You guys could be fixed signs, so that is Aquarius, Leo, Taurus or Scorpio placements. Because there's a lot of fixed signed energy here, which is actually quite hard to move in a way. Quite hard to shift and move. Please tell us, what does Blue Heart need to be? What do they need to know right now? What do I need to know right now? The Tower card. My god, more major arcana coming out here. This is actually pretty insane. So you guys now have the Tower card and Justice in reverse. Goodness me. So yeah, a lot of things maybe not making sense right now, but it's breaking down structures that were not built well in the first place. There is a reason for this. Things feeling unbalanced, maybe a bit unjust, thinking like, why is this happening to me? I've done everything right. But like I said, there's more you need to know here. There is a page energy up here that I feel like maybe you're not quite accepting. You're not quite accepting that there might be more that you need to know in this situation, that you don't know everything just yet. Maybe you've mastered one thing or one area, but there's more that you need to do before you reach, say, this Empress state or the Empress state, or even the wild card state, you know, before everything can start flowing in one. It's a bit like, it's reminding me of like chakras and how you need to have them all kind of aligned or balanced as best as you can. And obviously that's never going to be perfect, but how energy is able, I'm just thinking of the Avatar just because I've watched it this week, but there's like a scene in the Avatar where he talks about a river and how it represents this chakra, and if one bit is blocked, the energy cannot flow. So this is kind of what I'm seeing here, is that yes, okay, one bit might be open, but if the whole thing's not open, then it's not really flowing. What do they need to know right now? What do they need to know right now? I need to know right now. I think your reading is going to be kind of short because I kind of feel like I'm getting the same messages. Let's see now. So we now have the Three of Pentacles and the Four of Cups in reverse. Yeah, so this might be a time where you guys need to seek more wisdom from others. People who have been where you have been, or who have done what you've done, especially if it's in a career, or even if it's just listening to podcasts and not literally speaking to them, but gaining, again, more wisdom, more knowledge, collaborating with other people, not isolating yourself, accepting help even, because of this Four of Cups, you know, a lot of the time it's like, this person doesn't want to accept what this offer is, but I think that whatever situation you're in right now possesses what it needs to give you what you need. I hope that makes sense. Like, you could be, for example, say you're looking outside of yourself, like, no, I need to be there, no, I need to be doing that so that I can get where I want, but you're not seeing the value in the situation that you're in right now. Or by thinking that, for example, by thinking I need to be over there, you're not seeing the value of where you're at right now, and that's important. to not trying to escape your lessons, because they're important for when that new beginning does arrive, for when that thing does come in. So let's just see what else your oracle cards are saying for what you need to know right now. So we do have Rabbit Spirit. Now is a lucky time, even though it might not feel like a very lucky time with the Tower card here, or the Wheel of Fortune in reverse even. We also have Mouse Spirit, tend to the small things, which kind of reminds me of that, no, I need to be over there, but actually the things right now here need to be dealt with. For example, the idea of like, oh, I need to become a millionaire or something like that. And to do that, I need to own this, and this business. I need to have this many streams of income. But actually, the small things would be, how do I manage my money? Do I budget? How do I spend my money right now? You know, where am I putting my money? Like, just knowing the small kind of financial literacy things that helps you actually build the things you want in the future. Yeah, so we have full moon in Leo, which is don't let pride get in your way, which I do see. Could be a factor here. Again, not asking for help, for example, not seeking out wisdom from people, which is important for you right now. And then also we have Void of Course Moon, which says nothing will come of this situation. This doesn't mean like nothing will come of your desires that you have, or nothing will come of, I don't know, everything that's happening right now, but I just think it's a message of like, stay here, stay in the present. This is where the lessons are, this is where what you need to know is, and the future will come as it comes. I want to read Now is a Lucky Time card because it's kind of throwing me off a bit. That's a nice bit of background noise, isn't it? So it says, a sunny meadow calls, and Rabbit Spirit appears to lead you out of your dark warren and into the light so that you can participate in a fertile and beautiful experience. It may feel safe down below, but the magic happens when you come out and take the risk of being vulnerable and co-creating something new. You are being invited into a new life that you have no experience with, but have no fear. Today is also a time to be fruitful and productive as you enjoy Rabbit Spirit's sunny and prolific energy. At this time, whatever you intend to bring to life will find fertile ground. There are no mistakes, really, when you are co-creating with Spirit. So let new ideas spring to the surface, knowing that now is a lucky time of tremendous possibility. The protection message at the end also says, be playful now, admitting you are at the beginning of something. Come on out to frolic in the sun's nurturing light, because it's time to birth something new. You might have been drawn to another reading. I'm not sure if it might be reading number 3, because I think there was a message about, you know, when it's sunny outside, you kind of know that eventually it's going to rain again, but you don't dwell on the fact that it might rain again. You just enjoy the sun. And I think that's kind of here a little bit, kind of resonated here a little bit about the sun. Enjoying where you're at right now, enjoying and celebrating the little things that you have right now. Well, they might not be little, but you know, you might be thinking I could have more, but actually right now is enough. And yeah, I do think that maybe the ideas you're having and things like that, they are going to be beneficial to you. So getting excited about them, there's no problem in that. No problem in that at all. Anyway, let's get your advice out now. So we have the Nectar, which is kind of tying into that Rabbit Spirit and the Three of Wands here. You're attracting something good. And I think that's what you might be worried about, whether you are attracting something, but then nothing is actually going to come of this situation. But that's not true. Even though there's darkness here, the moon is still glowing. You can see there's still stuff happening in the sky imagery on this card. So even though you might not know what's coming, you might not be able to see what's coming exactly, there is a trust, there is a faith that it's coming. And then we also have Hubba. You know that dreamy look of deep, soulful love you sometimes see in the eyes of another as they glaze into your own. Expect a lot more of it. Yeah, there's a lot of messages here about good things are coming for you. Expect a lot more of it. Expect to be given everything that you've been wishing for. It's coming. Patience. It's flowing to you. And you're ready to receive it, so long as you continue to tend to those small things. Let's just get this nectar message out and we shall finish. Right, so this golden nectar or sacred elixir is a drink of immortality, and like its sister substance, soma, is known to activate subtle intelligent forces that ease the mind, body, and spirit. Though esoteric, these images lead us to the central energy of this archetype, the sweet, potent, heavenly essence that lubricates our spirit back to life. The nectar card calls us to identify and relish in places, practices, people, and activities that regenerate and heal. Medicine is needed, and it comes in subtle form that you may be overlooking. Seek the most sensuous, fragrant flower in the garden you have forgotten. Don't underestimate this remedy. It is said that when someone has activated the substance within, it is reflected in their shimmering eyes. What does this card say, guys? A dreamy look of deep, soulful love that you sometimes see in the eyes of another as they gaze into your own. I really do get also Venusian energy from this, and like tap into the Venus aspects of yourself, Venusian aspects of yourself, even the things that you enjoy doing, like painting your nails, doing a face mask. Obviously that's very typical Venusian things, but for me, what I enjoy doing, because I have a Capricorn Venus, is like watching cartoons, watching movies, really tapping into my childlike energy, because I feel like a lot of Capricorns don't get that opportunity, so they kind of indulge in that even more as they get older. It's kind of what they enjoy doing. So definitely look into your Venus sign. So say if you have a Leo Venus or something like that, you might really feel your best when you have your hair done, when you're being pampered, or when you are getting new jewelry, or you're receiving gifts or this type of thing, or you're gifting. You don't have to receive it from someone else, but you could be gifting yourself something like flowers, etc., etc., little trinkets and stuff. So it would probably be beneficial to you guys to look into your Venus sign and see how you can give to yourself at this time, because I think it's just about like keeping yourself really full, keeping your cup really full, and being prepared to receive the abundance that is coming in for you guys. And I do see that coming out a lot in my reading, well, this reading that I've just done on each pile. So I see that my collective that I'm attached to is really about to receive some great things. So if you're on this reading, be prepared, guys, because good things are coming for us. We should all be very excited and feeling very grateful and blessed with where we are right now, so that we can transition smoothly into our next chapter of life. So thank you so much for watching this reading. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below. If you are new here and want to see more from me, I post mostly spiritual and lifestyle content, and you can subscribe down below, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.